Chapter 9. Jamie found the bulletin board first thing Friday morning. Just as Coach Seville had promised, the winners were posted on a bright pink sheet of paper. "Congratulations to you all," the note read. "The following girls should report for a brief meeting in the gym after school today." Jamie's eyes darted to the names written in two neat columns on the sheet. Amberlyn Bailey, Vanessa Pierce, Tasha Jenkins. Of course they made it, Jamie thought as her eyes kept reading, her mouth dry and her heart pulsing. And then she saw them. Angel McCallister, Jamee Wills. Renita and Kim were there too. They had all made it, just as Amberlyn suggested. Jamie sighed. After working so hard to be a cheerleader and keeping Angel going, she wished she could be happy, but looking at the list told her that things would get no better. And if she got kicked off the team for her grades, they might even get worse, especially for Angel. Jamie knew she had to face Vanessa again and stop her, but how? The bell snapped her from her thoughts, and Jamie dragged herself to algebra class, ignoring the snickers and stares that trailed behind her wherever she went. Mrs. Gessner didn't say anything when she arrived. Instead, for the entire class, she acted as if Jamie didn't exist. It seemed as if the teacher had completely given up on her. In a way, it made Jamie feel worse than being nagged. Now, instead of being a bother to the teacher, she had become nothing, a lost hope. She could only imagine what Mom and Dad would say when they found out what she had done. During English class, Jamie was startled when an office aide barged in. "Jamee Wills, you need to go to Miss Spencer's office right now," the aide said. Jamie ignored the stares of her classmates and followed the aide to a stuffy conference room. Jamie could almost smell the countless meetings that happened there when students were expelled or suspended. Was she next? Angel was already seated at the table, as were Coach Seville and Crystal. Miss Spencer was at the head of the table. "What's going on?" Jamie asked, alarmed at Angel's face. Her eyes were red and puffy as if she had been crying. "What happened?" "Something serious has been brought to my attention, Jamie," Miss Spencer said sternly. "Very serious." She pulled out a cell phone, flipped it open, and showed them the picture. Jamie's face burned with embarrassment. She turned away from the image and the insulting caption underneath it. "Crystal showed it to me at lunchtime, and I brought it straight to Miss Spencer," Coach Seville explained, her voice tense and serious as if it were under great stress. "Girls, I'm not sure if you know how serious this is, but we have to get to the bottom of it right now." "I'm sorry, Jamie," Crystal cut in. "But what happened wasn't right. I just kept thinking how I'd feel if someone did this to me, so I thought the right thing to do was to tell someone." "It was the right thing to do, Crystal," said Miss Spencer in a louder voice. "But you can return to your class now. The four of us will take care of this." Crystal left, and Miss Spencer shut the heavy door behind her. "Would you two like to tell us what's going on?" Miss Spencer asked. "Do you know who took and sent this picture?" Jamie's palms were cold and clammy. Her stomach felt queasy. She felt trapped. Of course she was sure Vanessa and Tasha had done it, but she didn't want to tell on them. She wasn't like that. None of the people she grew up with were either, except maybe Darcy. Jamie shrugged. She looked over at Angel and saw a tear stream from her eyes. Yet her mouth was shut too, probably because she feared what Vanessa, her friends, and the rest of Bluford High School would say about her if she snitched. Coach Seville sighed, flipping her own cell phone in her hand. Jamie was sure she had the picture too. "I know this is hard for you girls," the coach said, "but Crystal has already given us the basic outline. We have to act, and if you don't help us, there will be a price to pay." "Why us?" Jamie said. "We didn't do anything." "Sending messages like this one over a cell phone is an act of bullying, and that will not be tolerated at this school," explained Miss Spencer. "But taking a picture of teenage girls changing in a locker room and sending it to other teenagers, that's a crime. I'm about to call the police and get to the bottom of this, but I wanted to give you a chance to tell us what you know first. Bullying, police, crime. It made Jamie's head spin. It seemed as if each time she tried to get herself out of trouble, she only got in deeper. She could almost see Darcy staring at her and hear Aunt Charlotte's voice. "I told you that girl wasn't going to make it in high school, Maddie. And if we find out the whole squad is involved in this, we're prepared to cancel cheerleading for the entire season," the principal added. "Cancel cheerleading?" Jamie cried. She and Angel looked at each other. "For everyone?" Angel asked. "Absolutely," answered Miss Spencer. "If the team hid the fact that others bullied and sent out inappropriate pictures, then yes, the entire squad can face discipline." "Now do you understand how serious this is?" asked their coach. "Please be honest. I'm guessing you both know who's responsible, right?" Angel cleared her throat. "They only did this because of me," she said. "If I never came here, none of this would have happened. I should just quit." "You ain't quitting, Angel," Jamie snapped. She thought over what Miss Spencer and Coach Seville had said. She thought of Amber Lynn and of all the other girls who worked so hard and had come so far. It didn't seem fair that none of them would get to represent Bluford on the cheerleading squad because of the actions of just a couple of people. There had to be a way to get it right, to make it so that Vanessa came forward and admitted what she did. Suddenly, an idea flashed into her brain, a solution as complicated and calculated as any problem Mrs. Gessner wrote on her chalkboard. "You're right, Coach Seville. Angel and I think we know who sent the message, but we don't want to accuse no one either. But I think maybe we can make the person who did it come forward on her own, if you'll help us." Miss Spencer frowned. "How?" Jamie explained. At first she was afraid the principal would never go along with it, but in the end, Coach Seville whispered something in her ear, and the two women nodded. "Okay," Miss Spencer said somberly. "We'll try it, but one way or another, we're going to get to the bottom of this today. And if we have to cancel cheerleading to do it, we will." "Listen up!" Coach Seville yelled to the girls crowded in the bleachers after school. Crystal and some of the other cheerleaders closed the gym doors and stood watching, almost as if they were guarding something. Jamie could feel Vanessa and her friends huddled behind her like a wolf pack. She sat up a little straighter. Angel did, too. Everyone seemed tense as if they knew something was about to happen. "Usually, today I say congratulations and we sit around and talk, get to know each other better. But we're not going to do that today," she said abruptly, "because there are some things going on in this group that need to stop." Coach Seville paused and pulled her cell phone out of her pocket and held it up. Girls mumbled and shifted nervously in their seats. Jamie heard Tasha gasp. "Things involving text messages and pictures and rumors about ladies who are members of this squad?" She then explained what Miss Spencer said, using the same words. "Bullying, crime, police. Our school policy required me to report this incident to Miss Spencer this afternoon and to take action against the students responsible." She looked around the gym. "Would anyone like to be a real woman and tell me what she knows?" Just as Jamie expected, the crowd was silent. All the whispers and the rude comments she had heard for a week were gone. The only sound was the occasional creak of the bleachers as someone shifted in her seat. "I see," Coach Seville continued icily, snapping her phone closed and pacing in front of the bleachers. She stopped near Jamie and glared at the crowd of girls for a moment. Jamie could almost feel her face burn from the intensity of the coach's stare. "I've got to be honest with you girls," the coach confessed. "If I hadn't seen the messages myself, I'd have told Miss Spencer sorry, but no one on my squad did that, not my girls. But I guess I don't know some of you the way I thought I did." The coach's words seemed to hang in the air. Jamie glanced at Angel. She sat motionless, her eyes focused on an invisible spot on the ground. "I still can't believe someone on this squad would violate her teammate by taking a picture of her while she's undressed," boomed the coach. "And I'm furious that she then sent the picture around school and made jokes about her teammate's sexuality. I don't care who you are or where you come from, you have no right to go there." Coach Seville thundered, filling the gym with her voice. "But you know what angers me the most? that some of you knew what was happening and did nothing about it. What would you do if it was you being targeted? Would you want people to look the other way? No, you wouldn't. You'd pray someone stood up for you. The girls on the bleachers were like statues as Coach Seville paced. We're a team, ladies. We don't hate on each other. We don't tear each other down. And if we see someone doing that, we don't walk away. You hear me? If you can't handle that, you don't belong here. Coach Seville paused. Jamie knew what was coming next, and yet she still felt nervous. Now, unless we get to the bottom of this, none of you will be allowed to cheer for Bluford. We're suspending the program for a year. What? Are you serious? That ain't right. Just as Jamie figured, the bleachers erupted with protests. She glanced at Vanessa. Her mouth was open in surprise. A few other girls started whispering, all the while casting looks in Vanessa's direction. But Coach Seville, Tasha's voice rose over the rest. What if we didn't have nothing to do with it? It's not fair to punish all of us because of what someone else did. Then what you all need to do is find out who did it and let me know. You have 1 hour. An hour? Someone yelled. Others mumbled and whispered angrily. That's long enough for you to figure it out. Help each other. That's what a good team does. If one member is attacked, you're all attacked. How can we build a pyramid on the field if you don't trust each other? How can you fall from the top of the pyramid if you can't trust who will catch you? Now someone is spreading some hurtful stuff about 2 of your teammates. It's wrong and cowardly and has no place on this squad. If you work together to find out who's doing this, you'll grow as a team and be successful. If not, you'll have a year to think about it. The crowd grumbled again, and Coach Seville gazed at them with a grim, knowing smile. Good luck, girls. I'll be back with Miss Spencer in an hour, she said, and walked out.